Chapter 98 of Married Thrice to Salted Fish. After listening to Gu Fujiao's words, Wu Yuyan's mood became a little heavy. The general had mentioned his wife, the stunning imperial physician. He had seen Imperial Physician Lin and thought he must be some immortal who stepped out of a storybook. At this moment, he was excited about the upcoming battle, but Imperial Physician Lin must be worried about his husband. It must be the same for the relatives of all the other soldiers. Shipe was afraid of death. He was afraid of his brothers dying. General Gu did not want to die because he had written a letter of guarantee to his wife. Wu Yuyan thought of his own family. When he left the capital, his mother packed his luggage for him with eyes rimmed red. His elderly grandfather sent him out of the city by himself. Though he said nothing when they parted, the hand that patted him on the shoulder had been trembling. "I can't die either." Wu Yuyan stood up abruptly and said loudly, "None of us can die." Gu Fujiao was startled and said with a smile, "Why are you so fired up all of a sudden?" "General Shi is right. Whether it's a general or a cook, we are all sons of our parents. Each life we can save matters." Gu Fujiao nodded in satisfaction. "Not bad. You now understand. This month has not been spent in vain." Wu Yuyan clenched his fist tightly. His whole body was brimming with fighting spirit. "So, General, now is not the time to be admiring the moon. Please quickly help me look over the formation. With this formation, our army may be able to fight 1 to 10. It will greatly minimize our casualties." Gu Fujiao grabbed Wu Yuyan's arm and used him as support to stand up. "I am a little hungry. Go to the kitchen and bring 2 bowls of noodles. We will look it over while we eat." "Yes, I will go now." When provisions are in short supply, this meager fare of plain noodles are exotic and luxurious delicacies. Gu Fujiao has been eating steamed buns like all the other soldiers. The little Gu worms at home must be eating better than he was. Gu Fujiao was looking forward to this happiness-bringing noodles. He didn't expect for Wu Yuyan to come back, not only empty-handed, but with his face painted with anger, and it was a subtle kind of anger, as though he was shamed into anger. Gu Fujiao opened the water bag to drink. "What's wrong?" "When I went to the kitchen just now, I saw 2 soldiers in the dark doing—" Wu Yuyan said, rushing to get it out. "Doing that cut sleeve thing." Gu Fujiao almost spit out his mouthful of water. Full of admiration and envy, he said, "Not bad." It felt like 10 years since he's done that cut sleeve thing. He's almost forgotten what it was like to have a beauty in his arms. The barracks is a solemn place. These 2 men must be severely punished for their debauchery. Gu Fujiao asked, "Does military law state that you can't do the cut sleeve thing in the barracks?" "It does." "Then how does it say to deal with it?" "By beheading them." Gu Fujiao let out an "oh," he said. "Where are those 2 now? Bring them here. I will take a look." Not long after, the 2 men who'd been outrageously bold in their lust, with arms tied behind their backs and ropes looped around their necks, were brought before Gu Fujiao. Gu Fujiao felt that the 2 looked familiar, and after a closer look, it turned out that they were Zhang Dage and Little Lin Shi, the 2 who exchanged steamed buns that day. Both of them had their heads lowered, but even when they were brought before General Gu, neither of them begged for mercy. Gu Fujiao saw that their clothes were neat and tidy. He motioned Wu Yuan to approach him and whispered, "Didn't you say that they were doing the cut sleeve thing?" "Yes, I saw it with my own eyes." "What exactly were they doing?" "The tall one kissed the short one on the forehead." Gu Fu Zhao. Dot dot dot. Oh my gosh, this little general. He needs to know what exactly happens in a cut sleeve romance thing. Ask any Fujoshi and Fudanshi. We have a BL selection that does way more than a forehead kiss. General, Zhang Dege said in a rough voice. I forced little Lin Shi. If you want to behead someone, behead me alone. Little Lin Shi, who was trembling with fright, suddenly had the courage to speak. No, Zhang Dege didn't force me. I did it voluntarily. Gu Fuzhou glanced at Wu Yuan. The look in his eyes was quite subtle. What do you think should be done? Wu Yuan said. Of course it should be dealt with according to military law. Zhang Dege didn't change his tone. If the general wants my life, I have no complaints. But I will be in the front lines for the siege 2 days hence. I wish to die at that time. I ask that the general grant this request. Gu Fuzhou and Wu Yuan looked at each other. During a siege, it is nearly impossible for those who are at very forefront to survive. But when recovering a city, there has to be one soldier who's first to make it over the wall. Little Lin Shi must have known about this a long time ago. He was not too surprised, but he sobbed uncontrollably. Zhang Dege knew that his death was approaching, so in order to not leave any regrets, he chose to break the military order and express his heart to his sweetheart. Unexpectedly, he had just kissed the other's forehead when he was grabbed by Wu Yuan, who happened to be passing by. This reminded Gu Fuzhou of his school days, when the principal would go around the playground with a flashlight trying to catch couples making out. Why does the principal need a flashlight in the morning? After a while of silence, Gu Fuzhou asked, What's your name? Zhang Dege said, Zhang Shiyue. Little Lin Shi said, Lin Lan. Gu Fuzhou appeared thoughtful and then he suddenly smiled. It's settled. You will definitely not die tomorrow. Zhang Shiyue was surprised and asked, Huh? Why? Because you have some nice sounding names. In the Dayu, people with nice names will definitely live a long time. Zhang Shiyue was a little confused and asked, The general won't kill me tonight? I won't. The both of you go back and rest, Gu Fuzhou said. Shaolin Si, spend the last day before the battle with your Zhang Dege well. 24 hours, not a second less. Jiang Shi was overjoyed. Thank you, General. If after 2 days I can survive, I will. Shh. Gu Fuzhou put his index finger on his mouth and instructed earnestly. It is absolute taboo to say such things before an attack. So don't say those kind of things anymore. Zhang Shiyue couldn't understand what the general meant, but he did as the general said. He cut down again and led Lin Lan back. After walking away, Lin Lan couldn't help asking, Zhang Dege, what did you want to say just now, if you survive? Now that it was his sweetheart asking, Zhang Shiyue forgot the general's warning. If I survive, I will go to your family to propose marriage after the war is over. I heard from a brother from the capital that there are now a lot of men who marry male wives. Even our great general married a male beauty. Lin Lan smiled with tears in his eyes. That's great. 2 days later, the Dayu ordered their troops to attack the city. No matter how loudly they called the Shishya to battle, the Shishya army stood firm and did not fight. Yonglian was well defended, with its thick gates and walls 13 meters high. Gu Fuzhao sat astride Xiao He, Shi Pei, and Wu Yuyan, leading troops to either side of him. He had seen the gates of Yongliang countless times, but it was the first time he realized how high it was. Banners were fluttering in the wind, the battle drums resounded. The general gave the order, and the soldiers raised their arms and let out a shout. The soldiers headed straight for Yongliang. At almost the same moment, thousands of arrows were fired from the top of the city walls. A rain of arrows poured down. The infantry rushed to the front, struggled and fell, while the cavalry coming from behind stepped on the corpses of those that came before them. Immediately afterwards, they were knocked down by the second wave of arrows, their bodies buried in the surging tide of people. When they finally set the ladder against the walls, the besiegers were greeted by boulders rolling down from high above. After this day, Gu Fuzhao never saw Zhang Shiyue again. He only saw Lin Lan, alone in a corner, gnawing on a steamed bun and weeping silently. In 2 days, he wouldn't even see Lin Lan. For several days in a row, they failed to breach Yongliang's defenses. The morale of the army was greatly reduced, and their provisions were reaching its limit. In the barracks, wounded soldiers moaning in pain could be seen everywhere. Since the siege, Huji couldn't remember when he'd last closed his eyes to rest. Still, more and more wounded soldiers came. This is normal when laying siege to a city, especially a big city like Yongliang. Back then, Emperor XX took a full year and 8 months laying siege to Luoyang city. In the end, did he succeed? Wu Yuyan kept encouraging the group. The enemy will run out of arrows and boulders. As long as we hold on, the day we break into the city is within sight. Gu Fuzhao sounded exhausted. I have no doubt we will capture Yongliang. The problem is the Sishia's Demer commander doesn't doubt it either. He knows he can't hold Yongliang. Wu Yuyan asked, if he knows he can't hold it, why doesn't he open the gates and surrender already? Why put up this desperate struggle? If I were him, since I'm going to lose Yongliang sooner or later, I'm going to make the loss worth it. Shi Pei asked, then what does the general think would make it worth it? Dayu's troops and riches, siege equipment, or me? Gu Fuzhao said calmly, for the Shishya, nothing is more valuable than Gu Fuzhao's life. In the eyes of the enemy, having failed to take down Yongliang after so long and facing dwindling supplies, it is only reasonable that we withdraw our troops temporarily. If I pretend to withdraw and loot the enemy out of the city to lay an ambush on us, even if the demon commander knows it is a trick, he will take the bait. After all, if Yongliang is about to be lost, they will surely die once the city's defenses fail. Wouldn't it be nice if the general who killed their prince died with them? They all looked at each other, and Shi Pei said, the general wants to use himself as bait? The last 4 words stuck in Shi Pei's throat for a long time before he could say them. No, Wu Yuyan said, agitated. I would rather we all die in battle than let General risk himself. Gu Fuzhao made a sound. And not long ago, I said that you'd finally understood. Looking at it now, It seems he hadn't understood anything. Please reconsider, General. Shipe frowned. The Shishya is at the end of their strength and won't last for long. Why do you? You think I want to do this? We don't have much food left, Tege. We can't last long either. Seeing the same expression on everyone's faces, Gu Fuzhou smiled and said, Strictly speaking, I'm not actually forfeiting my life. Come here. The people moved in closer. Gu Fuzhou pointed to a point on the map and said, The terrain here is like the mouth of a god. When the time comes, I will lead the enemy troops here, and Wu Yuan will lead 1,000 cavalry from the other mountain pass. We will bolt the door and beat those dogs. Even if the enemy grows wings, it would be difficult for them to fly away. Shipe pondered for a long time and said, But just in case, General, if you want to lure the enemy, I shall take your place. Your courage is worthy of recognition, but with all due respect, your life is not worth much to the Shishya, and it won't be enough to make them fight to the death. Don't worry, I believe Yuan will come to save me. Gu Fuzhou stood under the dappled light and shadow. He smiled and said, Yuan, will you allow me to place my trust in you? Wu Yuan's Adam apple bobbed up and down. General. I will go with the general, Shen Haoshi said. I promised Imperial Physician Lin that I would protect you. Gu Fuzhou thought for a while and said, You can go, but only if Huji thinks your body is strong enough to go to the battlefield. Shen Haoshi immediately said, I can. In the next 2 days, Dayu's attacks gradually weakened and the Shishya were able to take a short respite. Since he wanted to pretend to withdraw his troops, he naturally couldn't withdraw openly during the daytime. Shishya's demon commander always kept Gu Fuzhou in his sights. If Gu Fuzhou could not be found, he would definitely not act harshly. Gu Fuzhou ordered his subordinates to carry their packs and divide into 3 groups to leave. He led one of them to the mountain pass bottleneck, the location they had agreed upon in advance. Gu Fuzhou got on Shao He. Staring out into the boundless night, he suddenly found his heart beating a little fast. It's over. Shen Haoshi, following behind him, hurriedly asked, What's the matter, General? It's nothing, Gu Fuzhou chuckled softly. I'm just a little scared. But right now, he was Gu Fuzhou, the invincible commander general, the Dayu's renowned god of war. Gu Fuzhou would never be afraid. So he cannot be afraid, at least in front of these soldiers who trusted him. He cannot be afraid. He thought of lynching you. It would be great if lynching you were here. If his wife were by his side, he could place his arms around the other's waist and complain unscrupulously. He was so tired, his worries keeping him up day after day. He didn't want to lead the army. He didn't want to fight. He just wanted to be a salted fish who clings to lynching you all day long. But he was Gu Fuzhou, and Gu Fuzhou should stand majestically, with his spear held straight, full of metal. He tried his best. He hoped he wouldn't disappoint his men. Gu Fuzhou took a deep breath and comforted himself. There is nothing to be afraid of. I have planned everything. He heard himself say, I'm not afraid at all.